Here at POG Squad, we've had quite a lot of fun messing around with many different pieces of tech and equipment, but none have been as fun as the 2019 device made by Elgato. And yes, this device looks awesome, and yes, it does a lot of cool things, but is it worth it in 2024? Let's jump into it. So, I have recently found myself purchasing a Stream Deck XL used off of Facebook Marketplace for around $100. Originally, I was going to get the Stream Deck Mini, but I found myself getting the XL, and so we're going to find out if you really need 32 buttons, or if one of the normal sized or smaller ones will do. But first, I'd like to point out that no matter which one you get, they all look awesome and can display the POG Squad logo on the screen. And while deep down you and I both know it's just another macro pad, much like your keyboard, that doesn't necessarily mean it can't be useful in other ways. So I put the Stream Deck XL to the test from a creator's perspective and not necessarily a streamer, and so we're going to find out what this thing can really do and if you need all the buttons, or if you could just settle for a smaller one or none at all. Now, it is called the Stream Deck, so naturally I had to give the streaming benefits a try, and I gotta admit they're quite awesome. I don't know if you need all 32 keys to control, OBS like I do, but if you're a pro streamer, probably helps. But being the small content creator I am and not necessarily a streamer at all, I was more interested in the other features, so I gave them a go. Now, the first thing that caught my attention was the folders option, which basically allows you to have unlimited screens, and here I'm using it for my Steam library, and I don't have a huge library, so all 32 buttons aren't really necessary, but if you got a lot of Steam games, it'd be cool to have them all there. One of the most useful things to me is the ability to switch my audio outputs from the home screen, and man, it really saves me a lot of time. Those are probably one of the three main things I use on my home screen, so I definitely wouldn't need 32 buttons for that. And while having all these buttons so you don't have to switch between folders and menus all the time is helpful, it's definitely not something I would use all the time, seeing as I don't have many things I need to use all at once. And since you have the option to use folders, there's not really a need to have so many things on your screen at once unless you're doing some extreme multitasking. And with that being said, I gotta admit, I like pushing this thing's buttons, as they feel quite nice and they're quite clicky. So I have no problem if I've gotta click a few more folder icons to get to my 20-second file save of this video. So in my professional opinion, I think the Stream Deck Mini would do just fine. So let's talk software for a minute. Now, there's a lot you can do with this software, and it's very well built. It's got a lot of plugins and apps and other things that can make it very useful, but in the end, it's just some good macro software. I mean, most of the stuff you'll be doing is assigning keybinds and other macros like a regular macro controller. But nonetheless, the possibilities are quite endless, and you can do pretty much anything with it, as its customization options are infinite. Now, if you're like me, you like customizing every little bit and manually building the whole thing. But with 32 buttons, that can be quite the hassle. So, is the Stream Deck XL worth it in 2024? Well, I can't say it is, but is the Stream Deck Mini worth it in 2024? Oh yeah. And while everyone has their own use for this thing, this is all my opinion. So this is POG Squad out, and thank you for watching.